Hello and welcome to PME's Facebook Live event once more. All about summer madness this time. So our theme, as you've already seen, is all about summer and sunshine. Something we haven't got very much of here at the moment, I'm afraid. So with a bit of luck, we'll get you all inspired. And if you haven't been on your holidays yet, you'll be looking forward to doing so. Before we get stuck in, we're actually going to run you through some of what we're going to be doing and sharing with you today. And as always, we're looking to give you lots of hints, tips and ideas that you'll find hopefully very, very useful. So as you can see, we're going to be doing some cupcakes. This is going to be towards the end. We've got some very happy looking pineapples there. A bit of a gawky looking little flamingo there. All rubber rings for the swimming in the sea. Kieran's just getting a close in there for you so as you can have a little look. And some little mermaid tails or fish tails that you might want to be using as well. So we'll be doing these ones last, and we'll also be doing, because you can't have summer on the beach without a parasol or an umbrella, so we've got those that we're going to be showing you how to make. Very simple and very easy and lots of fun to do. And also here we've got our little pineapple in his deck chair. He's ready to jump onto the cakes at the back here, and the deck chair is what we're going to be doing on this little section. And what we're actually going to be starting with is our little pirate cupcake. So a little ho ho ho, ho ha me hearties or something like that. As you can see, he's been on the high seas and he's looking quite tanned at the moment, and he's also got a little bit of stubble on the go there too. So wherever you are watching, and we know we're really international, and we really, really love the fact that everybody from all over the world tunes in to watch us, whether it's now live or afterwards. Say hello, get in touch, we'll do some shout outs like we always do. We're always happy to mention your names and just say hello. So thank you for watching, and we're going to get stuck in now. So, cupcake, here we go. And a bit of piping gel, and I've got my brush on the go. So piping gel, I'm just using that as my glue, but you might be wanting to use a bit of jam. This is what we've actually got on the cake in the background that Kieran was showing you a little bit earlier, and that's actually been coloured up with some blue, which is really good for doing with. Lovely clear gel that you can do so much with. So here's our pirate's tanned face that we're just going to be creating. That's actually old gold that I've got in there in that sugar paste, if anybody's wondering. It's difficult sometimes to find a purpose for that, but I think it lent itself rather well on this occasion. There we go. A little bit of icing sugar, and away we go. Now I've got plenty as well, so if there's time and if there's an opportunity, we can always maybe revisit if you tune in a little bit later and you kind of miss any bits and pieces. Drop that on to give that a little smooth. There we go. And that's just ready to push in. So I'm just going to take my circle cutter and I'm just going to push it in the middle, like so, just an angle like that, so you can see. And then just by turning it round, that's going to give him his cheeky little side grin, if you can see that. There we go. Now I've got some yellow as well, sunny yellow. Oh dear, they've been trying desperately to get my attention with some boards to say there's some shout outs. Sorry.
It's okay.
You've got to laugh at that, I'm sorry.
You're enjoying yourself too much, aren't you? I just wanted to let you know that
yes.
PME in the USA has already started sharing
wow.
on their Facebook.
Thank you very much.
So
really
a big hi to PME in the USA.
That's brilliant. In the US, they are our sister company, so thank you for watching. We really appreciate you viewing. Hopefully you'll find out some really good hints and tips here. So I've just taken a little bit of paste, again my suntan paste. I'm just going to roll a little ball and I'm going to position it about halfway. This is going to make his little nose. So I'm just going to take that sharp end of my leaf veining tool and I'm just going to push it in. So that's one nostril and that's the other. So can you see it's just kind of pinched in there rather nicely. Kieran's just going in close there. He's just gone up the pirate's nose. I think that's what you were doing there. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue onto there. I'm just going to turn it round while I have a little look so that I get it on the side and in the middle. So if I turn that round, you can see his little nose where it needs to be. And again, a little bit more paste. And this is going to make his little ears either side. And I'm going to put them in line pretty much with his nose. Pat's got another shout out. She's got the board held up high there for me.
I've got a group of them this time,
Oh,
Paula.
Oh, wow.
And we're starting to travel the world.
Ooh, that's the bit we like the best though, isn't it, Pat? We love this.
So this is Helena, says hi from Sweden.
Hello, Helena
And
from Sweden.
she sent you a
Wow.
big smiley face, wave.
Oh, lovely,
etc.
look. Pirate smile back. Yep, there we go.
Neryl Johnson says hi from Cape Town in South Africa.
Oh, hello.
Denise Caldwell says hello from Fort Wayne in Indiana, USA.
Oh, wow.
And Elizabeth Delgado says hello from Peru.
Oh, isn't that fantastic? Hello to everybody and thank you for watching. It never fails to amaze us because we know that obviously here in the UK we're 2 p.m. Everywhere else you're all sorts of different time zones. So it's incredible to think that you're kind of tuning in at all sorts of godforsaken hours, really, to be honest. That's really, really good to know. So I'm just on his hair now at the moment. So I've just rolled a couple of teardrops down. I'm just going to attach them for our little chap. I'm going to swap to a slightly different brush as well, and I'm going to use some glue instead. There we go. Sorry, Kieran, I'm just kind of like invading your space there a little bit, wasn't I? So I'm just going to brush that onto there, brush that onto there. And just a little bit of onto there. So it's got a little bit of blonde hair. It's a bit odd really because his stubble's actually a dark brown, but don't worry about that. And then I'm just going to pull that through just to give him a little bit of an accent with his hair. There he goes. There we are. Doesn't need any more hair than that, I don't think. And then we can look at his hat. Now our pirate there's got a blue hat, but I'm going to give this chap a red hat. So he's very piratey indeed. He's still going to have some multicoloured spots on there to make him look fun and funky though. And I'll pop his earring on in a minute. So I'm just using sugar paste as well here, in case you're wondering. So I haven't done anything fancy, haven't added anything to it. It's quite soft, but it's fine. It does the job perfectly. It's nice bright red as well. A little bit of icing sugar. This lends itself very easily to a cake as well. So if you just want to take this design and increase it for your round centre cake, then that's ideal. No problem at all. Just drop that back in the bag so we don't dry out. So then I'm just going to go about halfway across on our, there we go, a little bit of glue again, just across the top. There he is. So it just kind of covers over his ears a little bit. Doesn't matter if it goes over the edges. I'm used to over the edge. Everything I do is over the edge. There we go. And then just leaf veining tool again. I'm just going to kind of swoop in to kind of give him a little bit of a, there we go. There he is. And then just a couple of teardrops again. And they're just going to make the rest of the little bandana a little bit of a bow on there for him. There we go. It's looking good. Well, I hope he's looking not too bad at all, actually. There we go. Just going to give it a little push in there. Oh, there's some more boards. There's lots of love that I'm being told right now. He's kind of headed across the string. And thumbs up. You'd be so impressed here. We've got some extra drawings on cards for being able to give us lots of information. So it's quite good. It's working. It's working well. So that's really good to know that you're all watching. And there's lots of love around as well. There we go. So a few spots on his little hat as well. If we give him a bit of a colour, pink and green perhaps would be quite nice for the chap. There we go. Now this feels a little bit firmer, so I have actually got gum paste here now, just so that you know. There we are. And we're just doing some colours because that's quite fun and very in keeping with the theme that we've got on the go at the moment. So just a small little round plunger there that I'm going to use. I think Kieran's just homing in there for you to be able to see. And whoops, throw it around a little bit first of all, and just eject those out. So we won't put too many on. Just do 3 of those. Obviously you're at home, you're going to have more time, but I'm sure you don't want to just stand and watch me cut out lots and lots of little circles. So there we go. There we are. So obviously if you've just joined us, we did show you what's coming up a little bit later on as well. And then some of the things that were on the cake at the back as well. So we've started with cupcakes and we'll be ending with cupcakes as well. All with that lovely summer madness theme going on. And we'll just pop that onto there. Very quickly just dropping these in position on our little jolly pirate. There he goes. He's looking quite jolly, I think, for a little pirate. And then we're just going to give him his little eye patch as well. So a little bit of black paste. Again, this is some modelling or gum paste that I've got there ready. And I'm going to use the larger of my plungers and just chop that in half. There we go. And that should give us about the right size for his eye patch. There he goes. He's starting to come together now. Nice and piratey. Nearly ready to join his friend on the high seas. All very colourful. There we go. So I'll just chop that into half, and that should be about right. There we go. I'll save the other one in case we come back to that. So we've already got one ready then. So just drop that in there. Will that pick up? No, probably won't. A bit heavy. There we go. There we are. There it goes. Now I'm going to use an edible pen just to add in some eye detail and also his stubble everywhere too, and just do that little earring as well at the same time. So a little sausage of paste just to kind of get that little loop going. There we are. Thin that out and give it a little pinch. And that should be about right. There we go. If you want to, you can add a little bit of lustre just onto the end of that perhaps to make it shimmer a little bit, because it is the golden earring. So, okay, so for his stubble, we'll just kind of go all the way over. There he goes. He hasn't shaved for a little while at the moment. I don't suppose he's had the chance to, really, has he? He's been too busy on the high seas. Kieran's grinning away, he's thinking, seriously? And then we're just going to do a squinty eye. So I'm just going to do 1 and then 2. So 1 long and 1 short little movement there with the pen. So he's now ready to head over onto our cakes out there. We've got some shout outs as well. So I'm just going to place him over there, tipped up a little bit perhaps. There he goes, lovely. Thank you, Kieran.
So this is just a quick message from Jackie Jones. I'm not sure where Jackie is.
Hello,
but
Jackie.
She says, love watching you picking up so many tips. And she sends you a lovely kiss.
Oh, lovely kiss back. Thank you very much. Now I was going to move my chair. We were laughing before we started because I've got my bin here, which I'm going to be kicking along as I go. So if you hear me or see me, it's just my bin that I'm shuffling along there. And I've put my chair ready, and I hope I don't smash into our cakes behind us, but we'll soon find out. If there's a big crash, that's what I will have done. Okay, so now we're looking at the little deck chair. This is so much fun to do. It really, really is. And I know sometimes people think it's a little bit complicated when it comes to using some of the gem cutters, but it really, really isn't. It's one of the easiest cutters that you'll be able to use. So on each of the back of the cutters, there's always a little handle, just so that you're kind of familiar with it. And depending on the size, it corresponds into the roller pad so that it sits nice and securely in that pad and it doesn't move around. Sometimes it's much smaller and sometimes they're much larger, like the one there. A little bit later on when we do the umbrella, we're going to use the little one so you can see them in position just there. These two pieces here make up the left and the right side of our deck chair, and those two pieces, once they're cut out, you are going to need to leave them to dry overnight at least for a little while. So that's what we're going to do. Now you do need to make sure that you're using gum paste, which is what I've got here ready. Pre-rolled, just in a teddy bear brown or something like that, I think it was. So we'll just get that rolled out. So it is nice and firm. It will dry much quicker and much firmer as well. There we go. So we'll just get that going. Try and roll out enough so that I've got for the two at the same time. Now I have got some chairs that are already kind of dried, etc. So it should be quite easy to be able to use the sections and then drop our covering, our canvas covering on there. Now I'm not going to go too thin. I'm going to put a little bit of, no, I'm not going to do that at all. I'm going to use my favourite petal base. I nearly forgot. How could I have forgotten that? So a little bit of my favourite petal base, just in case you don't know. It is actually a release agent, so by rubbing that just inside the cutter, it not only helps it to kind of stay inside the cutter, oh thanks Kieran, that's very kind, but it also helps it release very easily. That was really perfect timing on your part then. So I've got that ready also, and I'm just going to place that over the top of the cutter. I quite like to give it a little push, just so that I can see exactly where the paste is, and then just roll over it from the centre and out, and then back again. There we go. So you should have that, and then just use a ball tool, or you can sort of run along with your finger if that's what you want to do, and just make sure you've got a nice clean cut edge and that you have got the paste actually cut out properly. Otherwise, when you go to pull your paste away, the excess here, you'll find that you pull out from the cutter, which is not what you want to do just yet. It's going to go over there. So at the same time, while I've got that there, I'm just going to roll over this one. There we go. And back again as well. There we are. And just give that a little rub round there as well. Same thing again. And this is going to give you your left and your right side of your deck chair. There we go. Pop that back in the bag so it doesn't dry out. And then we'll just get rid of this extra section in the middle. And I'm just going to use the scriber to do that. So that's nice and hygienic. Same thing with this one. There we go. Now those little sections in here, just give those a little push so that you actually have a good removal of those, because you don't want those bits. Same thing the other side, and they'll very easily be removed then. There we go. Same thing there too. And just lift those out so it doesn't matter. Now if that does happen, you're going to tidy these up anyway when they're dried, so you can kind of improve the look. But also these need to be nice and clean, because this is where you're going to be putting the rungs of your chair through. So you do need to make sure that they are nice and clean when it comes to it, but we can do that afterwards anyhow. So don't worry about that, just pull that out. There we go. Well, actually I might sit down. There we go. Ah, that's nice. Poor old Kieran, he can't sit down at the moment, can you? He's like, no. Okay, so then we remove those, and they should come straight out like so. And when you see them like this, they always kind of look a bit confusing, but it's not confusing at all, really, because you've got left and right, and if you have a little look there, you can see where the base is. Where these sections are flat, they're the bottom of the actual little deck chair. So just leave those to dry before you can do anything else with those. As it happens, I've got some that are actually already dried. So I'm just going to pop that up there. Oh, and we've got a thumbs up. Peter's in the room and he's got the thumbs up card. And there's Nimish. He's not going to be outdone. He's got the love sign there as well. So everybody's going for it today. Okay, that's good to know. That's lovely. So I'm just going to take that off here. Oh, it's glued and it shouldn't have glued. That's typical, isn't it? I put it on there to keep it where it needed to be, and it's actually gone and glued. Hang on a minute. Oh, this is the joys of doing this, isn't it? Oh, well, my chair has glued and it wasn't meant to glue. But bear with me. It was actually just resting on it to keep it nice and steady. I'm going to flip it so hopefully it will come away in a second. Oh, that's typical, isn't it? Didn't want it to go. Oh, there we go, that's it. There we go, very carefully. Perfect. Phew. Breathe a sigh of relief at this point in time. Okay, so what I've done, if I turn that round, you can see, here's my flat sections. Now, I've added some glue in and I've actually put some little piece of wax paper and I've made some little rungs, which is what we're going to do. Just going to run through so as you can understand. I've got some of these here ready dried. So again, if you give them at least overnight, that should be about right. And you can either do one long sausage and then chop it up into sections, or you can just take balls that are the same size and just roll them into kind of a little caterpillar or a little sausage or a little worm, something like that. So if you can kind of see that type of thing. You need to make sure that they're the same size or will fit with what will be the canvas part. So if, for example, you're kind of there, that's very tight with where they're going to sit on the rung, so you need them to be a little bit larger, like this sort of sizing. If I just hold those there, you'll be able to have a look. And I tend to make the little edges just into a little bit of a point because I find them easier to place into these little holes once they're actually dried. So that would then make up what would be the fourth little rung that I need. Now also, when we took these ones out here, I did mention that you need to make sure they're nice and tidy and clean. So if you've got any kind of like frayy sort of edges, don't be afraid to just run the scriber around those, and just on that inside just run it round, and you see a little bit comes off there, so that gives you that nice clean edge just on the inside, and that will just make it so much easier to get the rung through the hole for yourself and give it a nice firm fit. There we go. So this section is actually then ready to go onto the top here. So you can see we kind of like attach these dried versions into here, ready to go. And again, I like to leave those bits to dry for a little while. Pat's got her board out. Another shout out. Go for it, Pat.
Well, I really just wanted to let you know that apparently there's been a major, massive typhoon in Hong Kong today.
Oh no!
And therefore,
all
all those lovely people that normally join us.
Oh, that'll be Peggy and Joseph, Blossom Cake, Brenda, everybody else.
Everybody else.
No,
so
no,
I just
no.
thought you'd like to send them our best wishes.
Yeah, all the best from everybody at PME. We really, really hope that you're all keeping safe out there. And just let us know when everything's settled back down again, because that's terrible. We'll be thinking of you for definite. Quite the opposite to our summer theme here, with lovely sunshine and deck chairs and umbrellas, etc. So this is quite often what I'll do. I'll just kind of make some extra little bits of what I call padding that I tend to glue onto the wheelchair. Not the wheelchair, wheelchair, deck chair. Unless I've changed something there. I suppose they both end in chair, don't they? So they're quite similar in that respect. Just going to use a little bit of glue. Move my glue in. There we go. So I'm actually going to flip it the other way round in a second, but I'm just going to add in these little bits over these sections, and you'll see why. We'll be able to push it in very easily. Shouldn't need too much on here. There we go. It's only just to help give it a firm fit. There we go. Not too much glue. Now you can use a piping gel if you want to, because that does tend to kind of give you a really good bond. So I'm actually going to turn it this way round. Make sure that you've got your flat edges where they need to be, and this is where I have to hope that it's all nicely dried. So we can place that across the top. It takes a few minutes just to kind of align everything, so you'll just need to kind of bear with me for a few seconds, and if anything slips out, then just pop it back in again, like so. So we're looking quite good there. Give it a little push, and again there. You can kind of see it just helps give it a good stable fit. Is what we're looking for. There we go. And I should be able to just turn that upwards so you can kind of see. Now normally I'd leave this to dry, but I'm actually going to go with just adding in the actual canvas on that quite quickly and leave these to dry. So if we need to do a deck chair again, we've got those ready over there. So if I bring this in now and just place that again with the handle just into our roller pad again. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit rickety when you put it together. Mine is, I think, a little bit. By the time you've got your canvas over there, that's going to look really, really good. So there we go. We're going to have a little bit of pink going in there. Now on this one you can see we've kind of gone spotty, but you might want to put some stripes in to make it look really fun. And we'll use some circle cutters as well. We'll just put a few on there. We won't put too many on there. And then once it's all dried, you might be able to put your pineapple in there. Or as we've done, we did a little flamingo, and we've popped the flamingo over there in the background. Look, just having a little sunbathe just over the back there. Kieran spotted that yesterday, didn't you? And you thought that was quite amusing. Or was it this morning even, I think?
This morning.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Hey?
I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan, yes. You do like the flamingos, don't you? Well, maybe everybody else will by the time that they've seen Facebook Live here. They'll be investing in some of those rubber ring flamingo things that everybody seems to be getting into at the moment. Each to their own, I say. Just going to lengthen that paste a little bit. Again, it's gum paste that we're using. Just checking that I've got the right size before I add my dots. I think that will do the job. And I'll just put some yellow on there. I won't worry about putting too many other things on there. And I did pre-knead it earlier, so I think I'll be able to get away with that. Now, ideally, you don't really want to start messing around with any glue. If you've got a sugar roller machine, you could always pop your paste through there just to seal the spots onto the top, if that's what you want to do. I'm going to go big spots because that'll be quicker and easier. And I'm not going to put very many on. You could put them on afterwards if you want to. I'm just putting them on first of all. There we go, not too many. Now, try and avoid the glue if you can do. If you're using wet paste, it should be fine, because otherwise you could get into a little bit of a sticky mess. Shouldn't really need to use any glue. There we go, just a quick push down onto there should do the job. There we go. Nice and bright and cheerful, very sunny. Oh, there's another shout out from Pat while I just organise rolling over this. There we go.
Okay, Paul, I think this is somebody that obviously needs a little bit of love. This is from Emma.
Emma?
Hello from North London.
Hello, Emma in North London.
And she's watching while she's ill in bed.
Oh, no.
But she says she's loving the show.
Oh, that's really good. I'm glad at least that's making you feel good. Whether it's, I don't know, is it raining outside at the moment? I was going to say hopefully it's cheering you up and it makes it seem like it's sunny everywhere, even if it isn't. So that should be fine. We should be able to remove that quite easily now. I didn't do a brilliant job there on that cutting, so I'm just going to tidy that up there a little bit. I just jolted it a smidgen. There we go, soon sorted that out. And I'm just going to bring in my chair. And as you can see, we'll be able to drop that in and around over there. So I'm going to put some glue in the appropriate areas first of all. And just across here. And also just across that section as well. And this is where I really hope I don't mess everything up. There we go. Give it a little squeeze. So if I flip that round, you should be able to see, giving it a little squeeze. Now, depending on what size rungs you do, it gives you a little bit more room to be able to kind of manoeuvre. And a little push just underneath as well. Give it a little squeeze. I'm quite pleased I'm holding together even though we've only just glued. So if I lift it up, you should be able to see just underneath there. Hopefully Kieran's pretty good with this type of thing, so you should be able to see where that's kind of like glued, and the same thing at the back as well. There we go. So our little deck chair is, oh sorry Kieran, our little deck chair is now ready to head off onto our sunny theme over here. And a little bit later on, we're going to add a little pineapple on top there as well. So I'm just going to place that. This one's going to sit over here. So we've got a little spotty. We've got stripy, plain and spotty. Looking good there, just waiting for someone to sit in there and get all the sun. And we've got another shout out with Pat. Yay!
Okay, this is from Chris Humbug Atkinson.
Hello.
And I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, but they say hi from Manchester.
Hello to Manchester. If Manchester's watching, I hope your weather's better in Manchester than it's been here lately. I have to admit, it's not been good. Not been good at all. Okay, so now we're going to look at something to go with our deck chair and our Summer Madness theme that we've got going, and that is our parasol or umbrella. Very, very easy to do. I've actually got two kind of pre-done, so I'm just going to be adding in one further section there for you, because otherwise if I was doing all of those, you'd just be very bored, to be perfectly honest. So we'll go blue for a change, should we? Why not? So we've got just one section here that's the actual cutter. So if I hold that up, you can see that then. If I flip it over, you can see that little handle that's going to go straight into there. And earlier I mentioned some of these smaller holes for some other cutters. And in this case, it's the little daisy centres that we're actually going to use to pop onto the middle of the little parasol there. They make great little buttons as well, and obviously daisy centres also. Oh, there's another little shout out there. That's Pat. Pat with the board this time.
I've got a couple for you here.
Okay.
First of all, Leslie Woolster says hello there, and she sends that lovely image of the little chef, you know, with the little hat and everything
really
on.
Nice. Thank you.
Wooden spoon at the ready.
Correct. We don't often get that one, I don't think. So that's really nice. Thank you for being
And
different.
then Leslie Woolster, sun's out in Ashby de la Zouche, Leicestershire. So there you go.
Sunny Leicestershire there.
Yes, we just need to move.
Yeah, that's where we need to head, because we've had nothing but rain at the moment and it's really quite miserable. Not to worry. Okay, so I've got my paste rolled out ready. Bit of that lovely petal base, my favourite as always, just going in on there. And I'm just going to pop that over. This is great if you just haven't got much time and you just want to do one section a day, because it won't make any difference. You don't need to be fast moving with this at all. So you can go your own pace and just leave things to dry gradually. Now this little section here, I have already loosened this once before. You can see if I lift that off there. These little sections here, I have actually put a little bit of that petal base on there, just so that it's easy to release as well. Oh, I can see Peter's got the thumbs up board there for me, and there's a shout out board as well. We're on a roll.
It's all happening here, Paula.
It is, isn't it? We're cutting edge, Pat. Cutting edge. That's what it is.
So this is Carol Heath. She says hello from Dunstable.
Oh, Dunstable.
And she's got a son with sunglasses on, and she says,
yes.
If only.
Yes, yes. Know how you feel.
I think we all wish, if only.
I know. Yeah, we'll just pretend we're on that cake at the moment in the sun, with the flamingo and the pineapples. And the rings.
Keep going?
Yeah, go for it. Keep going, Pat. I'm just adding my section in.
You're
so
fine.
Everybody will see what's happening there, I think. There we go.
You okay?
Yep, all good.
So Susie Moses says, hi, PME crew.
Hello.
And she sends a big sunny face, a sunny hello from Switzerland.
Oh, sun in Switzerland as well. How lovely.
We need a flight.
Yep, Switzerland, here we come. So that's my last section, just placed into there at the moment. And then I'm just going to put a colour in here, just to show you how that works. And just a little ball of paste I'm going to put into there. I'm actually probably going to get into the way of, I'm going to take those out because they'll be in my way. So I'm just going to squash in, roll that way, and then roll that way, so you can see that's kind of like very easy and quick. You could just roll a ball of paste as well, of course, but I think this is quite nice to have a little bit of a colour difference and a little bit of a texture. Now with your little umbrellas, your parasols, what you could actually do is have some little trim going on here, have stripes, all sorts of things going on. We've kept it really simple, but of course you can just go for it really, to be honest. Make it very exciting and a lot of fun when it comes to it. So that's pretty much the top section. So if you leave that to dry as it is, and then ease it out. I normally just put a small palette knife in underneath there and just kind of give it a little push out so that it's where it needs to be. And then for that section, it's not going to like me doing this probably too much, just drop it into there. And then we're able to put a little ball into here. and then you can then put your pre-dried stick into here. Now, pretty much in the same way that we made the little rungs on our deck chair, if you just make a very long sausage and then leave it to dry, give it a good dry time, and then that will be the base for your parasol or your umbrella. Just roll a large ball like so, and if you kind of push it in there, you'll kind of know exactly what sort of size it needs to be. Now you can either give it a little wiggle out if you don't want it to stay secured at that point in time, attach it into here and leave it all to dry for a little bit longer, and then when you're ready you can just reattach your stick into there. So it's up to you really which way round you want to do that. Like I say, you can just then leave it to dry in here for a little bit longer if that's what you want to do, but either way it's all ready to go. And then we can just push the stick in and then out. So I might be able to risk that. There we go. And then again, that's ready to head over to our cake as well. So I'm not going to put it over there at the moment. I'm going to leave it for a little bit longer just inside there to dry. But I can transfer over this one. There we go. I'm just going to add that just, I don't know, over at the back actually. This umbrella has blown away, it's gone into the sea. Pat's got another shout out, there we go.
This is one I know you'll love to hear.
Oh, okay.
Because this is from Joseph.
Oh, Joseph in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Peggy, hello. Blossom Cakes, they're one of our approved distributors and locations as well, teaching the courses and distributing our products in Hong Kong.
So they've obviously made it through the
You've
weather.
made it through. Hopefully everything's all safe and you're well over there, and we hope nothing too dramatic's happened as well, so we can get in touch shortly and find out how everything is over there. That's really good. That's fantastic. Okay, so we've moved along a little bit more, and if you've just joined us at the moment, we've actually started off with a pirate earlier who's been sailing the seas. He's got a lot of stubble. We've done a little deck chair, and we've just done a parasol to go with the deck chair. And now we're going to do some really fun little pineapples, gawky little flamingo, and a little fishtail as well. Now these are great either on their own, on cupcakes, or directly onto your cakes that you've got ready. And we're just going to start off with something very simple and a little bit of marbling, which is very in at the moment and such an easy thing to do. And where anything is sea orientated is concerned, of course, marbling lends itself to that. So it seems like an appropriate subject to be doing. So again, a little bit of piping gel or your jam, whatever you're using. We'll just have that on there prepped and ready to go. There we are. And we're just going to be doing green. We're looking at the pineapple at the moment, so that's what we're going to have ready. So if I just bring that over, and we'll add some into that, and you can just see what we've done. We've kind of marbled a section there. I am going to put some gloves on for this bit because it can be messy, and I do tend to get into quite a mess some of the time. So I've managed to avoid colouring my hands up prior to this, so I best keep clean and tidy. If I get my left and right the correct way around, there we go. So just some sugar paste, just some ordinary paste, and I'm just going to drop in a little tiny bit of blue into there. I've got my stick ready there, just take out, I don't want too much going in, that should do the job. And I'm just going to wipe it across in there a couple of times and ditch it, remember, don't reuse it. Don't put it back in the pot, just ditch it, there we go. So just keep twisting. And you can see it's just kind of coming through, keep twisting and coming around. You're not fully mixing it, just make sure that there's no big bits of colour. And if you think there is, just give it one more twist, just to kind of semi-place that in. And then we'll just give that a roll out. I'm going to lose the gloves now because they are kind of a little bit gloopy there. Just give that a roll over and you can start to see that lovely marbling texture. Now I did pre-knead that paste a little bit there just so that you're kind of aware it wasn't straight into paste that wasn't needed. And then we can flip that over and decide which side you want. I'm going to go that side actually, I think I prefer that one. There we go, quite often it's the underside that we prefer, but I do like that side as well. I don't know, I'm going to go, which side do you think, Kieran?
Yeah, I go for that side.
Oh, good.
I like that.
That was
side.
the right answer because I've put the icing sugar on the underneath now. So.
Why'd you ask me?
Well, I just thought I'd include you, really. I didn't want you to feel left out, you see.
Thank you.
So I'll just pop that back in the bag while Kieran homes in on the marbling effect there. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to drop that on top of my cupcake. There we are. And a little smooth down and around. And then we're ready to do the little rubber ring that's going to sit on top of there, that's going to hold our little pineapples. And just some green paste, again, just sugar paste that I'm using, that's all. Just roll that into a ball and then into a sausage or long worm. And I'm just going to check, get my teeth in, what sort of size it's going to be. And that's about right, to be honest, that's fine. And then open that back out. And you can either use your cutting wheel or you can use the sharp end again of that leaf shaper. Just run straight the way down the centre and then just push the end in. So if we give it 2 or 3 just little pushes in there, that just makes it look like we've blown up the rubber ring. You might just want to do 1 there, maybe 2. Same thing again, there we are. Just to give it a little bit of a texture. And then I'm just going to go in between those ones that I've got there, like so, and that just gives it a little bit of life, makes it look a bit more realistic. And that's ready then to go on to our cupcake. There we go. Bit of glue. There we are. So if I glue the rubber ring and not the cupcake, I won't get glue everywhere. Just a little bit on the end there, just to secure it. There we are, and that's ready for our little pineapples to go on to. Now, they're fun little pineapples, as you can see. I've got 2 there already made. I've got one that I've sprayed with a little bit of gold. And again, this is the old gold, just to kind of give us that beigey look for the pineapple. So just a little ball, roll it into an oval, and then just sit it on the side, give it a little squash, and that gives you that nice little pineapple-y shape. And we're going to add a little bit of texture onto that with our pineapples. Again, just a little bit of a squash. I'm just going to use a creative plaque insert with the crisscrosses, just to give it a little bit of a look of a pineapple. So just roll it across there like that, and that gives you that one. Oh, I've squashed him too much, look. I have to re-squash him the right way. There you go, you can kind of see you've got that little kind of crisscross design just onto there. So a little bit of luster just onto one of those does the job. And what I've also done is rolled out some leafy bits, and I've used gum paste for that instead, just so as they dry a little bit firmer. I'll just show you how I've done that. I'll bring them in. If I move those little bits in here, there we go, push that forward, there we go. So I've left those to dry overnight so that they can very easily just push into the paste. So just a long strip will do the job. Got icing sugar everywhere now, which I don't really want on there, to be honest. There we go. So just use a cutting wheel and just sharp straight line at the bottom, just give it a little flip, and then that's your little shape there. And then you could do maybe a left side one, and you could do one to the other way, and then they can dry, and then you can stick them in once they've dried, and that gives you your kind of pineapple look. So I'll use some of the ones that are actually dried. I'm going to squash them into these little chaps that are here, because they were just a little bit enough, because my other ones are a little bit, probably a little bit squidgy. So I'll go upside down so I can't really see what I'm doing, but Kieran, I'm sure, will tell me if it's not working out. Will you do that for me, Kieran?
I will.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's a positive. That's good. That's a positive. Just stick that in there. Enough? Oh yes.
I like it.
Oh good. Good. Are you easily pleased
Really
though,
cute.
Kieran? That's the thing. I've got one going in there, and oh, I quite like the look of that one. I'll probably only stick 2 or 3. You don't need very many in here, to be honest. And I think one more at the back. That one there. There we go. Is that enough in there, do you think?
I think so.
Yep, great. So now it's time to give them some glasses. Now what you can do is use some of these little ready-made sunglasses. Yay, they look really good. Or you can make some yourself. So what I've actually done here is I've used some different cutters, the large little ejector round one and a slightly smaller one there to make some sunglasses. And I've also got these as well, little heart shapes, because they're a little bit different. So we could make some pink sunglasses and then we can stick those straight on. You can leave them to dry if you need to. And again, gum paste is probably quite good here. And I'm going to use the larger one just to give me some heart shapes. And what I've also done is I've put a little bit of glaze spray just over the top of the black, just so as it looks shiny like sunglasses would look. And I've done that on the ready-made ones and also on the ones I've done myself as well, because I thought, well, that's a bit different. Just give them a bit of a sheen. So again, just give that a little knead. Don't need too much. I did kind of run along and pre-knead everything anyhow. And just a small size now going over the top. And that gives us the actual sunglasses bit. There we are. That hops out. Can you see that okay, Kieran? It looks quite dark for me, but you can see that okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we are. There we go. So a little bit of glue just onto there, and it should lift up. There we go. Just centralise that so it's where it needs to be. A little bit of glue onto the other one as well, and I'll swap there onto the other side. There we go. Probably got my big hands in the way, haven't I? There we go. And leave those to dry and then they can stick on quite easily. There we go. Now if you want to, you can actually, on this little pineapple here, you can see we've got a little bow, and that is just the two little heart shapes positioned like that, with a little ball in the middle, so it gives you a little bow side as well. So if you want your pineapple to have a cute little bow, that's what you do to make sure that that happens for them. So let's attach some glasses. I'm going to use some piping gel this time because it's a little bit thicker, and we'll just paint that across there and hopefully that should stick. I'm going to paint a little mouth on there first of all, just with some edible pen. So if you're doing the pirate, you've got it there ready for your pineapples as well. And I'm going to stick these ones on because they're dry at the moment. So pink sunglasses going on. Look like a big pair of googly eyes, don't they? There we go. And he's ready. Now he's going to go and sit in the deck chair over the other side. So away he goes. There we are. He's going to go into the pink. There he goes. Sunbathing. Oh, he was on the move. He didn't want to be in that deck chair, but he's there now. And a little bit of glaze. Just so that you can see that going onto the glasses, so it kind of makes it shiny. You can kind of see that just gives it, if I give it a little tweak, you might be able to see that kind of just got a little bit of a shimmer going on there as well. So that's ready for our other pineapple. But I won't stick them on yet because I'll have to spend a few minutes doing that. And we can transfer these pineapples. They're going to sit. They're floating. Oh, he's gone. There he goes. He's over there, Kieran. There they go. They're having a whale of a time in the water. They're like, yes, this is so much fun. As they're swimming around. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is our gawky little flamingo, and I've got various stages ready. So I would say leave this bit to dry with the head when it comes to it. I won't go through the little rubber ring again because you know how that one works, and I'll just show you the head and the little wing that we've got there too. And we've painted his little beak on there too, so he's got a black beak. That's what the eyes look like when I was looking at them. So if you've got a flamingo rubber ring, maybe you recognise the rubber ring there. There we go. So just rolling that out, but I don't know why actually. I don't need to. I think I'm going to do the... I was thinking I'd do the wing first of all and just leave it to settle for a few minutes. which I will do, I think. And then we can kind of come back to that in a second. So I've just used a leaf plunger, but I'm not actually going to plunge the design out. So if you've got one of these, it's very easy to just cut out 2 of those, and that just gives you your shape. You can use either side. We'll just leave that sitting there for a minute. And then that gives us the leftover to be able to use to create that neck. So just roll a teardrop shape and then carry on. So it goes to a point, like so, and then when you think you've got the right sort of length for that, you can just kind of like create a bit of a bend, like so, which is all he's like. Now if you wanted to, you could shape the head a little bit more just by kind of rolling a little bit, and then that gives you your kind of like face and section for the eyes to go on to. So he can kind of dry. Now if you wanted to, you could just pen straight onto that. So we'll just add him into there. He'll sit onto there, and we can just add in a little bit of a pen either side. There we go, and the same thing there. So you can go straight onto there if you want to. If not, you can just use a small plunger and a little bit of white paste just to create the eyes. Oh, there's a shout out. How long had you been standing there with that, Pat? I'm sorry.
Quite a while, but...
See, when Peter was doing it, I knew straight away he was doing that.
I'm used to you ignoring me, so don't worry.
Oh, not to worry. So I haven't offended you then.
This is from Carol Heath, and she says the pineapples are cute.
Oh,
and
good.
She sends you a kiss.
Oh, kiss back. Hopefully you'll try the pineapples then. Nice and quick and easy, which is what we all need these days, because there's an awful lot going on for a lot of people. We're all very, very busy, so we're always looking to try and share with you some nice, very quick and easy ideas that don't take too long, that you can elaborate on yourselves if that's what you want to do. There we go. We'll just squash them on. Just going to pinch those on. There they go. So there's the nice gawky eyes that we've been doing. A little bit of pen going on the top there. I'm going to use the brush end rather, not the fine, just to kind of be able to go straight on. Turning around. Hopefully I'm not making him too boss-eyed. There we go. And then I'm just going to use a very fine paintbrush, and I'm actually just going to paint the end of his beak. I'll just use the lid to take the excess off, and I shall just tip and paint. There we go, like so. And that's very easy, just to give him a quick. I think that's probably enough. Can you see he's got a little beak on there? All okay, Kieran? If I tip him up a little bit, is that enough? Have I covered enough of his end nose there? That's good. And then we can just look at this little wing now, and I'm just going to use that sharp end of that leaf veining again, and I'm just going to pull through, and that just gives it a little bit of a shape. So you don't have to if you don't want to. You could also maybe just do half of that, so just down this way and do half a wing each side, if that's what you chose to do. You don't have to, it's whatever works for you. Pat has another shout out for us. She's going for it now, is Pat?
I've got 2 for you,
Oh,
actually.
I've got black everywhere. Oh, lovely.
Okay,
Yep.
so the first one's from Carol Manville. She says, yay! And she sends you a smiley face and a thumbs up.
Oh, lovely.
And
A
then,
flamingo fan, I take it then.
and then Emma Searle loved the flamingos,
Oh,
and she sends you
good.
a big pink heart.
Oh, big pink flamingo back, thank you. We're just going to plonk the flamingo there next to his friend, who is sunbathing in the chair. There we go. There we go. Oh, there's flamingos everywhere. There we go. Right, so we're just going to move some of those things around. So now we're going to be looking at our fish tails. Just pick something underneath there, we'll just ignore that. So, little fish tails. This is one we've done with some luster. So again, we've done them as the rubber ring, but if you want to, these can just position onto your cake or your scene just as they are. So you've got two different options there. So we're just going to look at modelling that first of all. Cupcake's been done exactly the same. Again, some marbling on the top, plain colour for the rubber ring, and it's all been done in exactly the same way. And I've actually just got sugar paste here for this. I haven't worried about a modelling paste, and I'm just kind of using up some leftover. So we've kind of got a bit of a colour already in there, so I can just knead it through or leave it mottled if you want to. So just roll that into a bit of a kind of a tiered shape. And then just kind of start to flatten it a little bit. It does help sometimes if you leave it on the work surface, and you can either smooth it or pinch out the shape if that's what you want to do. It's entirely up to you. I do a bit of both actually. I see what mood I'm in, and then I just kind of go from there really, to be honest. So, and that just starts to pinch in the shape that we want. So there you go. You can start to bring that together. There we go. So I quite like that shape, so I'll start to pinch out the little fins at the end a little bit more now and flatten. There we go. You can cut it if that's what you want to do, but I just personally like to do it this way round, and then flatten again, flatten, flatten, keep flattening, just keep shaping until you're happy with what you've got. There we go, that's it. That's what I was after. There we go. So if I just kind of hold that, you can then see you've got the shape that you needed. And then I just use that flat end first of all and just kind of give it an extra kind of little edge, and that kind of gives it a little bit of texture and a little bit of detail as well. Just give it a little lift up, and then you can use the sharp end just across the top just to kind of add in a little bit more feathery detail. So you can see straight away you've got a nice fishy kind of look going on there. If you want to, you can also bring in that shell side of your blade tool just to kind of add a little bit more texture into it. If that's what you want to do, you might not want to. There we go. And again, if you're kind of not happy, just bring it back into shape again, however you want to. And if you want to kind of elongate this section a little bit more, then you can do. It depends what you're going to do. If it's going to fit on a cupcake, just make sure that you've got the section here ready for it, or if it's sitting inside, that it's going to fit. So you just need to kind of be careful and think about that when you're kind of putting it all together. And then I'm just going to use what we always call like the smiley side, smiley face, because we're all happy. But we're upside down, so it's sad face for anybody that's actually watching, and for Kieran there as well. So just push in, and then push one each side. I have to swap to my other hand, and then you can see it kind of gives you that little design that we kind of love and know as the scales. And then one either side, one in the middle. So you can see very quickly building up your design on the fish. So I won't keep going too much because it's just a repetition. And then what I generally do is kind of leave them to dry, and at this point you can kind of then flip. So if I turn it that way round, this is where it's really good. You can kind of shape it, give it a little twist if that's what you want to do. I like to leave quite a good amount down here, and because it's sugar paste, it's then very easy to trim the base off to the size and depth that you want it to be in. So once you've done that, we need to look at giving it a little bit of colour, which can take a little bit of time. So what I've done here, I've actually kind of pre-prepped on the back and then on the front, but I've left a little section so that I can just show you what colours and how we've created that little painting technique there as well. And I could hear a chair creaking there. That was Pat on the chair. There we go. So I've just got my three colours. Now, what I've actually got here is I've got some turquoise, blue, I've got some hot pink, and I've got some lime crush as well. Now, this is what I've got from yesterday, and it kind of looks like it's dried out, but that's fine. I'm just going to bring it back to life by using a little bit of the glaze cleaner and airbrush cleaner that we've used previously, which we keep using for a multitude of things, including brushing cleaning your brushes rather. So I'm just going to spray a little bit into there, and it smells fantastic. Can you smell that, Kieran?
Yep, no, I
Yeah,
can.
that's lovely, isn't it? It's so nice. And I'm just going to pour a little bit of that into these colours, so you'll see them come back again. I might add a little bit more colour into that one in a second. But if I just start off with the hot pink, so this is just concentrate paste. Like I say, it's our hot pink. Hot, hot pink for our hot, hot, sunny hot beach that we're not on. And I'm just going to paint a little bit of pink into the centre. So it's quite a vibrant, deep colour that I've got there. So a little bit of pink. And then I'm just going to surround it by a little bit of the turquoisey colour, which is a lovely teal colour. Now, if you find it's too intense and it's a little bit strong, just add in a little bit more liquid so you can kind of then thin it down tone-wise, you see, if you feel you need to. I quite like it quite strong. And then just paint in a little bit more around it. Now, to begin with, it starts to look quite messy, so there isn't very much kind of flow there. But what we're actually going to do now is we're going to add in a little bit more of the cleaner, and then we're going to blend it with that. Now, I've used the green just kind of up the sides that you can see there, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that out so it's quite clean, and then just kind of blend it all together. You can kind of see it kind of just starts to blend through. So this is very therapeutic, this bit, so this is nice to do when the tail is fully dried and when you have a little bit of time on your hands, so you're able to kind of just play a little bit. I'm getting a look now from Pat. She knows I'm not allowed to say that play word. But too late, Pat, I was there. I said the play word. So you can see that's kind of really blending it really, really well. And then you can kind of like carry on all the way around, add in a little bit of your green, just to kind of pull a little bit of extra colour right the way across if that's what you want to do. Thin it down a little, carry on blending it. So you get some nice colours coming through. There's a lovely kind of deep purpley colour in there now as well. And that kind of gives us that really kind of nice look to it. Now, if you want a little bit of shimmer on there as well, we can add in a little bit of a topaz twinkle colour, because that's a nice kind of fishy look to that. So I will just add in a little bit of shimmer just over the top. And I've got a nice kind of brush that I've ruined a little bit, if I'm honest, just by kind of bouncing into there, because I think it very much lends itself to kind of bouncing all over the paste. So it just gives it that little bit of a sheen. So just there we go. I think that's really pretty. That just nice kind of like bluey colour going over the top. I won't do it on the bit that I've just kind of created there and coloured up, because it will just kind of ruin it a little bit. But hopefully you should be able to see that shimmering there, I'm hoping, Kieran, giving it a little twist. There we go. So that's then ready to either go on to your cupcake. So that's another rubber ring for your cupcake, or we can pop that straight onto our display over there, which is what I'm probably going to do with this, if that's okay. So if you have just joined us, we've gone through quite a number of different things today. Am I in the way? There we go. We started off with our pirate cupcake. So he's just over there now doing his piratey thing. Then we moved on to doing our deck chairs, so we've got plenty of those everywhere. And then we've been doing a selection of umbrellas and parasols there as well. And we've just ended now with the little cupcakes there as well, and the rubber rings as well. So hopefully there's been plenty of ideas there for everybody to take away with them and to enjoy and have some fun with. Hopefully plenty of inspiration for everybody, and summer inspiration for the last minute holidays that maybe some people are actually getting ready to book. Again, if you're in Hong Kong, we really hope that all is well as far as the typhoon is concerned. Wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for joining us, because it's been really fantastic. We've actually got quite a few people here from the team with us today in here at the moment. It's been really good fun for me, so I hope that everybody watching and everybody here has also had a fantastic time as well. So happy holidays if you're managing to squeeze a late one in, and hopefully we'll see you next time, and have fun and just enjoy yourself. So till next time, bye.